What's going on? Anthony with Coaching Funnels. And in today's video, you're going to get an over-the-shoulder look of how to improve how I'm going to build a playbook so you can improve your clients' results and the success of your program. All right. So kind of a little backstory. One of my clients, we were talking earlier this week, and one of the comments is like, how do I keep track of like where my students are at? How do I increase the progress, the results of the program? How do I increase the level of accountability that we provide them? And I was like, dude, I could totally help you, and I would love to do it. So I volunteered to help build the system, and why not? Why not? You get an over-the-shoulder look of me using a software and how to build a playbook and all this great stuff. Get the over-the-shoulder look of how to do this and what I'm going to do, and I'll walk you through my thoughts. Just pre-framing this. This is going to be a little bit longer of a video, a little bit different of a video. So, there's many times I'm going to be talking. I'll try to explain what I'm thinking and what I'm doing and all that stuff as I go through it. But I want to walk you through of how to build a playbook, how I'm building the client success playbook for this, what I'm thinking, the structure of it, the tool that I'm using, and all those different things. And then, how are we gonna, I'm talking about ClickUp, but one of my business is having a software for this, and all softwares don't solve all the problems, but as the platform of Coaching Funnels develops, maybe eventually it'll get project management and client management at this level. But for now, we're going to utilize another great app, which is ClickUp. So let's get into it, and I will walk you through, what I'm thinking and how it's going. Okay. So we are inside of, let's see what view I like. Do I like this one or this one? Let's do this one. Cool. So we're inside of ClickUp. Okay. So ClickUp is like probably one of the most powerful project management tools, work management tools. Because if you think about it, software wise, you have your like sales funnels, your email automation, your sales, like your pipeline management, your sales management, and like doing all that, that's what Coaching Funnels does. But, to manage your marketing campaigns, to manage your clients, your staff, all these different things, I would recommend ClickUp. So let's dive into it. Today, our focus today is we're going to build a little bit of a client success playbook, a good portion of that. So, and I'll walk you through what I'm doing inside of this. So let's talk about, what we got. So in ClickUp, they have you have different spaces. So if you're a bigger business, this would be like departments or teams or something like that. And then, you have folders underneath this, and then you have lists. That's the kind of basic structure of it. As this client is using some of it for personal finance, but primarily for his primary program is Fearless Coach Academy. So we're not going to look into these other folders because there's probably sensitive data. So what I've started with is a folder, right? And the cool thing about a folder is something I use with, if you're a member of Coaching Funnels, I create a folder with you, and you're only the one, you and I and my team are the only ones to see it. The cool thing is, like, if you have your clients in here, if you give them access to this folder, your other clients can't see these other folders. So that's pretty cool. That's a very cool thing to do, a very simple thing to do. So for each client, what we're going to be doing is we're going to today create the template folder. And then in the future, since this client does have a Coaching Funnels account, when we go, hey, a new sale has gone through, then we're going to trigger a new folder creation. I won't go over how that works today. That'll be a separate video. What I do want to focus on today is, primarily the management of, helping the client manage the projects they have with us, and their daily accountability. So since this coach helps like early stage coaches like grow their coaching business, and sometimes brand new coaches start their coaching business, what we want to do and what I want to do is I'm going to take my business management system, that my business operating system, and start ingraining this into the system of this coach. Okay. And we're going to go through that and I'll walk you through those pieces. But what I want to do is one of the cool things about ClickUp is that we're going to create a document. And that's the awesome thing that I loved about ClickUp when I started using it, is that I can create a playbook inside this folder, like a full instructional, like multi-page and all this other stuff, so that the client, and this is why I'm recommending, this, because like you can build this template folder and we can build the whole how-to use this system and what to expect and tutorial videos and stuff. And it'll be all loaded like that. Sorry if that's too loud, but it'll be loaded like that once we have that trigger, and the client will know what to do. We can do a bunch of cool things inside of here. So we're going to start with the document, because so many people look at software tools and like, oh, it's going to solve my problem. And that's how it's sold, right? I need to, I need better time management. It's going to solve my problem. But if you don't have the system around it that overrides it, like the operating system, I call it, like the business operating system, or your personal day-to-day operating system that you go by, your routine. People call it routine, but I think an operating system goes beyond it. So let's go ahead and click view. In this, you have so many different views, and we're going to click on doc, right? We're going to build this thing, and then we're going to add this view, right? This doc. And, I'm going to call this the Student Success Playbook. Okay. So Student Success Playbook. So we're going to give an overview and all that stuff. So we're going to create a document in here. And one thing that I have a framework, I call it the 4P framework. That's part of my business operating system that I teach. Is the 4P framework has to do with, 4 Ps, right? Purpose, the plan, the positions, and the place. So if you utilize those for this framework, you can create any system, any initiative. So if it's launching a marketing campaign or anything like that. This is why I'm saying, I want to explain this to you. So the first thing is the purpose. Under purpose, we have our objective, right? So in this Student Success Playbook, we're going to state the objective, and I'm calling it the Student Success Playbook because it's really I want the student to look at this and go, okay, this is how I'm successful in this program. This is how I'm going to execute in this program. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to call this Student Success Playbook. The objective is, I'm not going to go dive into the objective right now. I think that'll be too much. But we're going to start. The other part of one of the other subcategories under purpose is targets. Okay. So these are, like financial number, like revenue numbers, client numbers, project dates, anything like that. So this is going to be specific for this. So, we're going to, look at, the timeline of it. So the other thing, so we're just going to look at targets. So we can say new clients, right? For this is a coaching program. Let's put above here as we go into total revenue. And then let's say, we can gonna say projects, right, to complete. Because in this, we want to give them a high level of what they're going to do, and then we're going to come down to here, and this one right here, if we put the title over top of this, is purpose. Okay. And then I'm going to move this over. And ClickUp's really cool for all this different stuff, like having docs. You can actually, one thing that's cool, you can actually import your task list right into a doc. So really cool. So this would be the purpose side of this. Sorry, I've got to get some pop-ups and stuff. I'm going to move this over to the middle, and then we're going to go to plan. That's the second P into here. Move that over. So the plan is, the one thing that we have to consider is the timeline, right? What is the timeline for this, right? And underneath timeline, you got to look at, if you have you look at, if you're a coach, you have your delivery timeline, what Peter in Fearless Coach Academy calls your proven process. But underneath that is like, there's your process, but then there's your timeline. So this starts off with like day 0, right? Day 0. What kicks off this new, like even this, what kicks this off, right? They would have their kickoff call. Like the trigger for this, and that's what kicks this off, is that, hey, they signed up, right? So when you're looking at creating your timeline, you're like, okay, how does my process start? Especially your client success playbook, where does your process start, right? What is the action? What is the thing that happens that says, yes, this starts it, right? It would be, in this, a client actually like signs the contract and pays, and they're like, we're good to go. So the next thing would be like their kickoff call. Okay. And then, that's the first thing. And then, you can have under here what I call phases and steps. Okay. So there'd be like phase 1, right? Would be what? Client onboarding. Okay. All right. And then we have then you might have a phase 2. So we're not going to get crazy into detail into here. So we have phase 2. Okay. And depending on how long your program, you might have a number of different steps. You might have targets at which, they're going to do this at. So, we might go through that phase 3. So you might have step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay. So those might be 3 steps underneath that, inside of this, and then we'll put that in there. And I'm just building a framework right now. And just to give you an idea of how I'm doing this and what I'm thinking. So the next P is positions, right? And this is key, right? Because this is going to define the team that you need to get this done, right? And all that. So we got to have, who is leading this? Who's the lead, right? And the person leading this is really responsible for hey, here's my vision. Here's what it is. Here's what I want to accomplish with it, and eventually, ultimately, they're responsible for, they're responsible for, the success of this and taking that whole thing, updating it, making sure that it's getting tweaked, but making sure that everything goes down. Okay. And then who's managing this, right? I don't know where you spell the best. Managing is who's overseeing it week to week. The lead would be kind of more quarterly and monthly and those things. And for you guys, you might be a smaller coach, might not matter, but these things are important to identify. and just identifying like who you need. So these are the categories of people, right? This would be probably the owner, right? And so in this, we would say Peter, right? And the responsibilities are, we can put bullet points of the things that he's responsible for this. And then, let's say I'm going to help manage this, right? And then you'll put the things that I'm responsible for, and then we'll go down and we're gonna say assist. Okay. And we're gonna say Richard is assisting. Okay. And with this, in this client success program, we're going to have like a weekly or bi-weekly accountability call. Okay. And then Richard's going to be, responsible for, weekly report of overall program. Okay. Maybe we would do a monthly and weekly report. Okay. So we're going to come up with like a report inside of this so that we know exactly where this is at and, what the success of the program is. Okay. Change up that. I'm capitalizing too many things. Cool. So we have that. Those are positions. Our plan, inside of this, we do want to have like target dates, like reoccurring events. We can even do sometimes I have weekly, we have depending on the type of playbook, this all changes. You can have phases if it's that, but even if it's ongoing like this too, we want to put in, and if there's weekly check-ins, we want to look at like in the plan, the timeline, like the weekly. What are we doing weekly? What are we doing monthly? Right? And are we doing anything quarterly? So we're going to say weekly, we're going to have calls and reporting. And we're going to do reporting. And maybe inside of this, we eventually get to a point where, one of the calls is a monthly like review, right? But, we're just kind of in the infancy of this, but I'm just showing you how I'm building this out. Positions and then your plays or your plays in this. Okay. So this would be when like, you have what most people think of SOPs. This would be like, oh, here's how you fill out the weekly report. And you do, one of our plays down here is a weekly report. And this is actually, how do we do this? Monthly report. Right? Okay. Let me check back on the screen. Cool. So monthly report. And just take notes on this, because this framework and how I'm doing this you can take this and apply it to other processes and stuff you want to get done your what's it called in your business. So the other thing we want to look at is a weekly / since we're first starting this, bi-weekly call, right? We're going to define that. And I'm just listing these out right now because I want to know like the plays that I need to create. And then I'm going to put for coach, this is going to be a process, weekly / bi-weekly call and return a report. Okay. And this is going to be for the client, for the student. So the idea here with this is, when I was talking to Peter about this, I was like, hey, it'd be great, get them to, he just did a training on like a pre-planned year and, going into like planning quarter. and then, this would fall into place with, this would fall into place sorry, I'm blank. I need some more sugar. No, fall into place with like those plans in that. It'd fall in line. It'd all be a system that continues to work upon each other. So he does a yearly pre-planned year for the year. Just did it a few weeks ago, and in January you're going to do a quarter, and then this could fall into a monthly and then a weekly. So it's all one stack system. So in here, I'm going to put down even up into here since we're talking about it. And guys, this is a different type of video where I'm like, as I'm going through it, we're building it out. I'm getting the ideas. I'm fleshing it out as we go. Oops, I'm going to put quarterly here. All this stuff can then fit into your calendar. And then, if you're using ClickUp as like a task management and reporting, you could do that as well. Okay, yearly. And look at this distinction between timeline. There's kind of two places. If I want to, kind of differentiate this, maybe this is the timeline of when they get started, but this is also like, here's what we're doing yearly. So we're seeing a quarterly planning, let's say workshop. So we have that, and maybe under here we have a quarterly student success report. And what we want to do, and then we go, just thinking about the targets, right? The other thing, do this with another client is like, okay, well, this is the client targets, right? And here is the program targets. And this has nothing to do with the revenue side, but we do want to see maybe number of students, right? We come up with some success matrix like project completion. And I'm a bad speller and bad typer, so project completion. What else can we do? One thing for the clients is we have, I call them daily battles, but let's call it key action score, right? And I think we'll do that with this client. We'll just call it key action score. And the idea around that is that, one thing that, working with the students and working with Peter and helping them out in the program is, we want to get the students to understand that there's a difference. This is for you. The difference between daily actions, the things that you got, that your business has to get done when you're initially a solopreneur and all that, it's on you, but as you get going up, there's still daily actions that kind of keeps your business running, right? And, kind of moves the needle of moving towards your targets. Projects and campaigns and stuff, they're big initiatives that, you kind of do one at a time, one off, or, once a year, twice a year, or something like that. And that would be project-based work. So this key distinction between that. So that's one thing there. We'll say program K score. So we're trying to create scorecards here for the students and for the program. Okay, so I'm just kind of I'll probably reorganize this a little bit as we go. But that's my general plan. And we can, down here, report, quarterly, workshop. So we're going to create a framework eventually for this workshop. Monthly review. Okay. Cool. So they were there. There we are with that. It's kind of like getting my ideas down. And then, yeah. So I'm going to move this over. Can I move it over? Come on, pin it. I think I have to pin it. Pin it. There we go. I want it in the front. Cool. And then eventually I'm going to create more pages and I'll come back to that. Maybe it's a little bit later, but what I do want to jump into is the list. And remember, we were talking about with this, we have, I want to create certain lists. So my idea is to take these lists and rename them, right? I'm going to rename this as to-dos and reoccurring. Okay, so these are going to be the things that the student needs to get done on a weekly basis, and also a to-do is something that if you want to utilize this, a to-do is simply something that needs to get done in 7 days. So we probably want to put that down here as an explanation. So to-dos and recurring, right? These would technically recurring would be the key action scores and things that you just need to get done, okay, on a weekly basis. So I'm going to add another list, and we're going to call that projects. Projects, okay. So what we're going to do, and we were doing this. I have a template in Trello. I'm going to start from scratch over here. So I'm going to load up or have our assistant load up a bunch of if you look at the board view, this is like Trello. Then you can kind of see how this is going here, right? So you have, you can create, we're going to customize these boards and all that stuff for where you're at and, all that stuff. So we're going to load up into all the projects. So all the trainings they have to do and all the projects associated with them. We'll load them up into here. So what we're going to do, and this is the client success thing. So the other thing that we're going to do up here is, I think one of the documents we need to create, where did it go? Did it go away? Okay, hold on. Okay, cool. So this client success playbook, we're going to add another page to this, and we're going to call it the student, this is going to be the student weekly return and report. So we're going to build out a form for them and do that, so that they have all that. I think that's going to be pretty simple. I think the other thing we should do is a new list, and we're going to put in numbers. Yep. I think that's a good idea. So we're going to make a list called numbers. And what I want this to do is to sit at the top of here, above to-dos and reoccurring. Oops. Okay. So with this, this can act like a spreadsheet in some ways. Let's just put an S on that. Cool. So, and then we could do, weeks and days. I'm going to have to do some thinking about that, what I want to do, but we're going to put some numbers into here so that, the student can keep track of some numbers. Since they do have a roster, let's go ahead and put a client roster list in here. Okay. That's always a good thing to do. And I want to put that towards the bottom. Okay. Cool. So that client, that the student will know their roster. So they'll have, see contact information. They could do how much they paid, when they started, when they're doing all that. If you go in this folder up here, I'm not going to click on it, but one of the things is like, with the use of, coaching funnels and this together, we could trigger at what point that person signed up, and then trigger them a stage move inside of coaching funnels. And then that'll trigger something in here, move a task from one board, one stage to another. So I think that's the basic framework. And I think for today, I'm gonna leave it at that. That's our first pass at it. But the kind of idea here is that we're creating this template thing, and I think we have a good start, right, with where we're going. I know it's not complete. I will come back and do another video on like other aspects I'm going to add to it. But the client is going to have numbers, their to-dos and recurring tasks, and then the projects and modules and stuff that this client, this Fearless Coach Academy, is going to give them. And then they're going to have their client roster. And I think I want to keep it as simple as possible. I think 4 lists is great. I don't want to get too complicated. And then, we'll work on how to return report this. Actually, let's dive into the return report real quick. So what we want to do is have the client fill out like, what wins they had for the week, right? And we're going to report back on like numbers, and this is to-dos and recurring. Okay. And then projects, right? And the idea for this is for them we have a weekly, bi-weekly accountability call where, we're not really talking too much strategy. We're just like, setting priorities, kind of going around the hot seat, and they would run down this is like, okay, boom, student A, you're up, like, boom, rattle off my wins for the week are this, my numbers of the week are this, my to-dos, my to-dos for the week, and my reoccurring or is this, and then I'm on track or off track with my projects. And we can even do possibility. We might eliminate this. What am I learning? Right? What am I learning? Where do I need support? And what is my plan for the next week? And I think inside of this process, we're going to, they're going to go ahead and say, hey, next week, here are my targets. Here are my projects. Generally, this doesn't, we can put in to-dos here. To-dos. And did you schedule and block time for next week? Cool. So what I'm thinking is that one of the things that everybody probably needs is like a little support with like time management and being organized with their time and the workflows and all that different stuff. So that's what we're doing here. So did we schedule the time for next week and do all that? We block out what we're going to do and all that. So then that'll build them a habit, and we can help them keep accountable to that habit. So, and then, from there, that's the kind of vision for that. That's the report they would fill off, prior to the call. So we come up here. When should this be done? Prior to ability call. Cool. So that's where we're at for that. And a quick pass of this, probably have a couple more, and then we'll go from there. So I hope you got value from this today. I know it's a little bit longer. We're at how many minutes? I don't know. Where are we at? It doesn't show me, but I hope you got value from this today. If you have any questions about this process, I'd love to see it. Give me feedback about this process. I know it's a different video. If there's any other like processes in the future we'll go through, we would do those. But in this too, we'll come back and redo this. Add to this and start putting in some more pieces. Like I said, I did this off the fly, and kind of just thinking through this as we're going, and that. So I appreciate you joining me. If you've watched, 1 minute to 36 and a half minutes, I really appreciate you. And if you have any questions or need support, don't hesitate to reach out. Love to help you. And I hope you have a great day.